This is Mr. Music Norman Knight. This hour on Solid Gold Scrapbook, we'll salute producer Bob Crewe. He's the man behind the hits of the Four Seasons, Freddie Cannon, Mitch Ryder, and the Detroit Wheels, and more. We'll hear hits from them and others, and be joined by Mitch Ryder, Frankie Valli, and Barbara Parrott of the Toys on the Unistar Radio Network. Crewe was born in 1937 in Newark, New Jersey. He began to write songs while still in his teens. His first big break came when the Rays, a New York City vocal group, recorded one of his compositions, Silhouettes. The song nearly topped the charts in the fall of 1957.
Took a walking past your house.
On a salute to producer Bob Crewe, that was Silhouettes from the Rays. In addition to writing hits, Bob soon began to manage and produce hits. One of the people he established himself with was Freddie Cannon. The Massachusetts-born singer had a hit the first time at bat with Tallahassee Lassie, a song co-written by Crewe and Freddie's mother. Shining the spotlight on the sound of producer Bob Crewe, that was Tallahassee Lassie from Freddie Cannon. For his next hit, Crewe suggested Freddie record a jazz standard that dates back to the 20s. Bob's advice paid off because it became Freddie Boom Boom Cannon's second consecutive top 10 hit. Way Down Yonder in New Orleans, a near chart topper for Freddie Cannon. Perhaps the band that Bob Crewe is most identified with is the Four Seasons. When we spoke with Frankie Valli, he told us how a chance meeting with Crewe began his career.
I ran into Bob Crewe, who had just been on an interview, and he said he'd like to hear what we were doing. And at that time, Bob was involved in producing records. He was involved with Cameo Parkway and all those people. I think he was doing Freddie Cannon and Danny and the Juniors, and he was, you know, a whole bunch of people like that. The Rays, Silhouettes, Billy and Lily. We played him the tracks that we had cut. He liked them. He signed us to a record deal. We kind of did background on most of his productions for the first couple of years. And then in '62, we finally went to him and said, "Hey, Bob, you know, we don't want to continue to do backgrounds. Are you going to record us or not?" And we kind of forced him into recording us at that particular time. And we recorded Sherry.
Sherry, baby, Sherry.
On a special salute to the sound of producer Bob Crewe, that was the song that introduced the world to the famous falsetto of Frankie Valli, Sherry, a chart topper from the Four Seasons. The band followed up that with another song that went to the top. Bob Crewe has gone on record and said the song's title did not come from a Clark Gable movie, but was inspired by a B-movie on The Late Show.
Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry.
That was Big Girls Don't Cry, a chart topper for the Four Seasons, written and produced by Bob Crewe. Coming up next, our salute to Bob will continue with more hits from the Four Seasons and more memories from Frankie Valli when we return to Solid Gold Scrapbook. Mr. Music Norman Knight, shining the spotlight on the sound of producer Bob Crewe. The next collaboration with the Four Seasons once again landed at the top of the charts. At the time, the Four Seasons became the only group to have 3 consecutive chart-topping records. At the time the band was popular, many people called the Beatles England's answer to the Four Seasons. Special salute to the sound of Bob Crewe, that was Walk Like a Man, another chart topper for the Four Seasons that was written and produced by Crewe. The Golden Team once again topped the charts in 1964 with Ragdoll. The song was co-written by Crewe and Seasons member Bob Gaudio and was never intended as a single. Was Ragdoll from the Four Seasons. When Frankie Valli began his solo career with the release of Can't Take My Eyes Off You, he stuck with Crewe. Frankie comments on finding a style and sticking with it.
From '62 to about '69, we had so many hits. I mean, there were times where we had 3 hits in the top 20 at one time. I don't want to record that way anymore. You know, I want to really... It was a different business in those days. I think unless you really feel strong about what you're going in to record, without thinking whether it's going to be a hit or not, is really a very important part of an individual's career. So I don't want, I'm not going to try to make records like anybody else. I've established what Frankie Valli is all about and what the Four Seasons are all about.
You're just too good to be true.
That was Can't Take My Eyes Off You from Frankie Valli. Coming up next, we'll hear more of the sound of Bob Crewe and be joined by Barbara Parrott of The Toys when we return.
Solid gold, triple